girls. Hello. Maybe we're live this time. Maybe we're not. There's only one way to find out. I'm going to pull out our. I'm gonna pull out our video and see and see if we can go live.
Were you or your loved
Hey
ones
TikTok
affected?
or hey YouTube, I have a suggestion. Over on TikTok, they allow their users to start their live without actually being live so that they can see all their settings and make sure they're coming through live. And then when everything is nice and crispy, they hit yes, I would like to make this video live. I suggest you guys do that. Yes, I would like to make this video live. I suggest you guys do that. It would help tremendously. I promise. I would I would help. I know you're listening, YouTube AI. I know you're listening. That's my feed. That's my feedback. Anywho, my name's Keith. Yeah, you guys, man, let us. Nice to be back. Uh, we finally finished this book, man. We finally finished this book, and it was good. I have some critiques of it. I'm not necessarily on board with Liber Null and the Psychonaut. There's a lot of stuff in here that it's lopsided. It's one of those lopsided practices that leans very heavily into one aspect of creation, one aspect of the mental faculties, and washes over the other ones. It's well, we can get into it. We can get into it. First of all, everyone hit the like button so we can crack that algorithm. If we can get, I don't know what, if we can get, I don't know, 20 likes in this video, I'll cast another one. I'll probably cast another one anyways, but what else would I do with my life? Anywho, if you're new, leave your name on the bottom. Tell us how you found us. Welcome. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Mi casa es su casa. Chaos magic. Let's first. I have a little outline so we can um, stay on track. All right. So first things first. What we learned here was chaos magic. Chaos magic is using something called the chaos sphere to basically manifest whatever we want. It's more pragmatic than it's pragmatic than dogmatic, more pragmatic than religious, more pragmatic than traditional. Meaning, it's all about what works at any given time, and then it just sort of leaves it behind when it's done with it. Which is as it claims part of its superpower. And it's just honestly the world we live in today. There's so many different paths of study, paths of enlightenment. All roads lead to Rome, as they say. And so the chaos magician sort of picks and chooses which one makes most sense for them with their their beliefs that they already have, what they've been exposed to, and just the fact that we have access to so much stuff now. Hello, everyone. I am. Oh no, dude! I played 2 shows in the past 2 nights. My eye is a lot healthier. Look at it. See, the swelling is down. It hurts to have my glasses off because it's super sensitive to light, but the eye's looking a lot better. The laceration to the sclera is growing, so my eye is like, I have a blood red crescent moon underneath my iris on my right eye. It's pretty gnarly, but I've been hitting it with all the herbs. If you guys are just tuning in, I had a terrible accident chopping wood a few days ago and almost lost my eye. But oh, yeah, it hurts. It's watering just from being open. So, but I promise I'm fine. I played a 3 hour gig last night, and I played a 3 hour gig the night before that. And it was I talked to my doctor. I have a doctor buddy, and he said, Keith, I don't think there's anything wrong with you playing shows. Just don't get into any bar fights, and you should be fine. Did they give you eye drops for scarring? They gave me eye drops for antibacterial, but they didn't give me. I didn't know there was eye drops for scarring. What's going on, MCQ? What's cracking? Oh yeah, take your time, Mitchell. Let's friggin' go, MCQ31MC. We the child's been doing pretty good these past couple days. It's like look what happens when you post stuff, man. Look what happens when you post stuff. Look what happens, Keith, when you're a little more active on the channel. um, do any of you guys want to look up non-copywritten, like lo-fi background music, that would be awesome. That would be super cool. Anywho, let's get cracking into this. So we've already basically talked about what chaos magic is. We out here, MCQ. We out here. What we're going to go over today is chaos magic, some very important aspects from the books, like creating sigils, like going into gnosis, which is the gnosis according to chaos magic as described in this book. Gnosis is basically a deep meditative state where you can tap into what they call the chaos sphere, which is basically the etheric or the subconscious, or the pure potential, the waveform. You know how in science they say a waveform is a waveform, or it says the particle is a waveform unless you look at it, and then the waveform collapses into a particle. So that waveform of pure potential is the chaos sphere. The subconscious is the chaos sphere. And there are ways to enter into that state of being, but excitatory or inhibitory. Inhibitory is like taking things away, which is inhibiting. So that's your meditation. That's your I forgot what else. It's in my notes. It's like that's like your sort of meditative states. And the excitatory way of accessing gnosis is dancing or drumming or extreme emotional triggers, moments of elation or fear or terror. These moments are also ways to access gnosis. And that's the whole name of the game. And we do that with belief systems. So also belief systems is a huge part of chaos magic, and that we use our belief systems because what we believe in tends to shape our reality, whether it's subjective or objectively speaking. Our belief systems shape our reality, and therefore picking up and putting down these belief systems is a way to proceed. It's a way to proceed. I thought my gain is a little too high. Is that better? Can't tell. I need a pop filter for this thing. I need a pop filter. Anywho, just let me know if anything weird's going on with the audio. Okay, so that's chaos magic. They make things like sigils, right? So your sigil, you guys are all familiar with sigils. There's different types of sigils that we can make. We'll go into that. There's ways of programming the sigils. We'll go into that. And I also want to comment on areas of lacking in chaos magic. I feel there's some serious pitfalls in my humble opinion, right? This is not like we're talking spirituality. Anyone who tells you with ultimate truth that their way is the way in something as wishy-washy as spirituality and practicing literally the intangible is a charlatan, as far as I'm concerned. Anyone who doesn't allow any room for error in their spiritual teachings on something as elusive as the nothingness and the pure potential of existence is a charlatan. So keep that in mind as I address some of the faults of chaos magic, at least as it's presented in this book. But first, you guys are all gonna have to slap the like button so we can crack the code. Hold on, let me see. Akira, let me read you guys' comments because I can't see them through the glasses. Akira the Dawn has some. I don't know who that is. I had a bad eye injury recently. Rusty, did you hear Billy? What about Billy? Don't stick by it with trees. Don't stick by it. Fetishism. Did you know everything happens for a reason? Yes, it does. And my particular reason was I was not using my wood splitter the way it was intended to be used. And when you don't use your tools as they are intended to being used, you set yourself up for disaster. That was the reason why that was the reason why my eye was almost destroyed. Not to say that I can't make the best of it, or I can't alchemize it in such a way that is like, oh, I'm so glad I almost lost an eye because XYZ. That's definitely going to be happening. Anywho, I digress. Okay. Let's see. I have PowerPoints. You guys remember PowerPoints? I wish I could put PowerPoints on my phone because I made a cool PowerPoint. Anywho, we already went over beliefs, the chaos sphere. All right, there's two points that we'll set down that the book kind of starts with, and that's one beliefs, and the other is the chaos sphere, which we briefly went over. I guess I can briefly go over it again. That way, we're just sort of in tune. Beliefs aren't something to be held on to. Beliefs are something in chaos magic are something that are meant to be picked up and put down, because none of them have any standing in objective reality. They're just belief systems, right? So you can use whatever you want. If you were raised Christian and Catholic, it would be wise to use Christian and Catholic beliefs to enact the change that you want to see in yourself or the external world, because those beliefs are sort of rooted deep down. But ultimately, you would want to drop those beliefs altogether. You would want to drop that altogether. I think the book even goes into certain ways like blasphemy, like directly going against beliefs in a blasphemous sort of way to free yourself of the hold they have over you, which can go kind of dark side, because the book doesn't really believe, as far as I can tell, in good or bad. It believes in what is and what isn't, which is to a degree true, but also to a degree that's how cults start, and that's how people unalive themselves in crazy cults, because they're convinced by their leader that, to completely disregard their reality and accept a new one, which a lot of the times by these cult leaders is a terrible new reality. Just go watch some documentaries on Netflix and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very dangerous. There's a lot of psychology. There's a ton of psychology. And in fact, I would say it's all psychology, which is cool. I love psychology. I love the practice and study of the mind and its power over the world and over ourselves. So it's rooted in some meaty things. It is. And then the chaos sphere. Again, the chaos sphere is when you meditate, when you slip into a trance-like state, and when you sort of start dissolving the different layers of the ego to be more tapped into the infinite, that infinite that you're trying to connect to, that's the chaos sphere. That's the goal of the chaos magician, is to slip into gnosis, that deep trance-like state, tap into the chaos sphere, and extract what you need out of it to fulfill what you need. And then the book goes into tools to do that, sigils, types of meditation, etc. So we'll get into sigils. How to create a sigil. Anybody know how to create sigils? Would someone like to leave comments on how they leave sigils? I swear to God, this is, like I said, it's a very wishy-washy topic, this thing that we like to study. And you ask a dozen people how to make sigils, and you're going to get a dozen different variations of the answer. Chaos magic is all about that, because they're like, hell yeah, use whatever you want. But there are some similarities. Those similarities being, you write your desire or intent. You can also make glyphs or symbols. It doesn't have to be words. It can be a glyph or a symbol, or it can be words that you collapse into a symbol or collapse into a glyph. If you remember our Men of Letters merch, we have Men of Letters t-shirts, and I wrote the word focus, but then I put those letters to look more like a glyph. I used the words of focus so that you couldn't see. When you read it, you don't read focus. You see a symbol, but focus is written in there. And that's all right. So we can use words, we can use glyphs and symbols. And then the most important part, which is what people a lot of times forget about, they say you create your sigil, you create the intent, exactly what you want the symbol to do, what it represents. But the most important part is charging the sigil, and we charge the sigil with extreme moments of elation. Basically, we go into gnosis. And so what we learn, so we'll talk about gnosis a little bit. Gnosis is, again, getting into that trance-like state. So we get into that trance-like state through meditation, or we get into that trance-like state through sexual activities, or we get into that gnosis through excitatory modes. Remember, there's inhibitory and excitatory ways of entering gnosis, and some of the excitatory ways, like you go to a drum circle. Maybe you even you micro D on some entheogenics, and you go into a drum circle and you chant. So now you're chanting, and you have the rhythm, and you got the drums, and you got the repetition, and you got the micro D entheogens in the bloodstream, and this enters you into a trance state. This trance state where you tap into the chaos sphere. Now, when you hit that moment, you sacrifice those energies to the sigil. And it doesn't really say how. This is a very brief overview of chaos magic. I'm sure there's entire books on sigil making. But I'm assuming it's something like, you can have the sigil next to you, or maybe you have your sigil drawn on a board in the middle of your drumming circle, or you're dancing on top of a sigil drawn on your floor, super friggin' Wiccan style. There's a number of ways to do this, but proximity was one of those things. And then then you forget about it. And then you forget about it. Hey, if you guys are just coming in, we're talking about chaos magic. We're talking about sigils. Specifically, we're summarizing a book we read here on the channel. Welcome. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Are we still live? You guys can hear me? Okay, cool. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. The reason why we forget the sigils is because we want the sigil to slip into the subconscious mind, because the conscious mind, our singularity mind, is the one that's sort of overthinks things. It attaches. It's not consistent. The conscious mind is not consistent. Sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's fearful, sometimes it's hopeful. Sometimes it's courageous. Like that's the nature of the conscious mind. And the superpower of the conscious mind is to sort of have the ability to pinpoint an infinite amount of things. But we don't want that happening, because what we want is a 24/7 broadcast of the sigil. Our sigil needs to be passive, like your Wi-Fi router, which is always broadcasting a signal, period. As long as it's on, it's broadcasting a signal, the same signal. So we program the sigil. We root it in we program the sigil with by entering a state of gnosis, and then we set it and forget it, baby, so that once it's deep in the subconscious mind, it can do its thing without the interference of the conscious mind. Yes. So that's sigil. Have any of you guys tried creating sigils, by the way? Like I said, I created one sigil properly, and the idea behind it was focus. I wanted focus because we all know that focus materializes things. Let me read some of your guys's. Okay, that's the first section. So I'm curious if you guys have made any sigils, how you went about doing it, what your goal was, if you don't mind sharing. And most importantly, did you charge it? And if you did charge it, how did you charge it? Did you use, according to chaos magic, did you enact gnosis via the inhibitory state, like meditation, or did you go the excitatory route, like say maybe even sex magic, or dance, chanting, drum circle sort of deals? Like how did you guys approach it? And with that being said, I'm gonna read you guys' comments. So that I'm gonna read it from my computer though, because it's hard to read my phone screen right now. How's everyone doing? Happy Sunday, by the way. Yeah, I was a kid. I was playing around with a tree and it fell back. Better to know through awareness. Yes, agreed there. The Native American and Israeli words for fetish or representative of gods. I thought it was pretty cold. What was cold? Well, the word for it may be different, but it's similar con. No sigil dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Well said, Ela. You about to slap? Or intentions. You should always practice protection. The book talked about that too. Yes. The book definitely talks about protection. We probably should have led with that. I don't think I took any notes. I totally forgot about the protection aspect. Yeah. It is suggested that you would be wise to look deeply into protective sigils, or protective enchantments, etc., if you're going to be doing stuff like this. Hi, baby. What are you doing? What are you doing, love? Hanging out? Baby love. All right. Greetings, Oath. Be careful with sigil. Be careful with everything, man. Or intentions. You have to know what's wrong before you start applying remedies. Well said. Otherwise, you're putting in signals frequencies that might not be harmonious. Oath, hello. That's well said, Ela. I can get behind that. I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Yes, I have done a couple. My goal was peace. I love it. I used meditation and special cider with intentions. I simply wanted peace. Were you specific, Rusty? How specific are you guys with your manifestations? You wanted peace. Was it like peace with the family, peace in your own home? Was it peace to the whole world? Was it like love and peace, everybody? Or how does that go? If you guys are just tuning in, hello, my name is Keith. Introduce yourselves. It's nice to see everyone. Come on in, take your shoes off. Stay a while, the water is fine. We're going over chaos magic. We finished our live reading of Liber Null and the Psychonaut. It's nice to see everybody, it is. Yes, I have. I want to learn more before I do. I'm kind of with you. I mean, I already did one, but according to this book, I didn't do it well enough at all. Israel Regardi. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So gnosis and altered states. If you guys remember when we read this book, if I leave something out, fill in the blanks and talk about it, because I didn't do a very good job taking notes. I should have. I took notes in hindsight, but I should have been taking notes actively. See what I mean? Sometimes the active mind is a lot more useful for some situations than the passive mind, which, before I get ahead of myself, is one of the things I don't like about the presentation of chaos magic, at least in this form, is that it's all passive and no active. It focuses specifically on the chaos sphere because it says the chaos sphere is where all the magic happens, which is not true at all. Even according to this own book, that talks about the necessity for polarity. The chaos sphere is the etheric, is the potential. It's half of it. The other half is reality. The other half is you and me. That's the other half of reality, what's happening here and now, like what's been actualized into material, what's been defined as a thing, as it's come down from the chaos sphere into the order sphere, right? They're two halves to the same side, but this book thinks that everything is. This book claims that the chaos sphere is the bread and butter and doesn't really bother going into the other aspect, which is why I think it falls short to something like at least modern Hermeticism, with the presentation of Kabbalion and things like that, and Isaac Newton talking about as above, so below, and stuff like that. Anywho, let's go into gnosis and altered states. We talked about inhibitory and excitatory already. Oh, nice. Looks like I'm... See, man, we're getting better at these little presentations. Meditation, sensory. So what... I would say 9 times out of 10, correct me if I'm wrong, we're all about the inhibitory routes of entering gnosis. Am I right? Meditation, sort of like sensory deprivation, deep breathing and stuff like that, sitting still and quiet and trying to go the route of not thinking in order to enter these states of consciousness. I would say 99 times out of 100, that's what people are aiming at. What do you guys do? Is that where you guys are? I would be, even me being a regular performing musician who I'm constantly chanting and singing and drumming and in an excitatory sense tapping into that etheric realm. But I still don't use it in a chaos magic manifestation, frequency building, friggin' Kama Sutra wielding, communing with Bashar, entertaining alien minds. Sorry. But edit that out. Dave, edit that out. Anywho. But I would like to try from here on out. I would like to maybe at one of my shows make a sigil for shows to, I mean, talk about. So I was just mentioning the inhibitory ways of entering gnosis. The excitatory ways of entering gnosis are huge bursts in emotion. Talk about huge bursts of emotion. Our gig last night, there must have been it was packed. There was standing room only at our show at a little brewery, and it was popping, and people were lit, dancing, and happy, and people were partaking in adult beverages because it was a brewery, and so the emotions were unhindered because of the inebriation and because of the music, and it was regardless if the vibes were good or bad, the vibes were extreme, which is what's important for stuff like sigil work. It doesn't need good emotion, it doesn't need bad emotion, it just needs a powerful emotion, which is why a lot of the times you see chaos magic in the presentation of this material in like a dark sense, where people are like cutting themselves and doing sacrifice, like the old Greeks and stuff like that were sacrificing their friggin' children sometimes. These people were nuts. Because it's easy to enact extreme emotion through negative emotions for whatever reason. Maybe because we're human, maybe because of this sphere of existence. In other words, it's a lot easier to make yourself really, really scared than really, really, really happy. You know, go stand in front of a train and you will experience more fear than you've ever experienced in your entire life. You know what I mean? You could do that as soon as today. But to experience more happiness than you've experienced in your entire life, you're gonna have to do some serious work. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to change your entire life for the next year and cut out all the inebriates. You know, like get back into a meditation and exercise routine, cut out all the drama and BS, stop watching the news, like consume only high vibe stuff. And a year from now, you'll think, dang, I've never felt so good in my life. But that takes work. I think it has something to do with the refining nature of ascension, the refining nature of, you know, alchemy talks about as in distillation, like when we're making our spagyrics, the separation of earthly matter and sort of rising towards spirit takes a refinement. So it's much harder to attain than, you know, the lower states, the lower states of existence. Anywho, where was I? I was rambling again. I was rambling again. Anywho, so we had that. We had gnosis, which method of achieving gnosis. We had the importance of gnosis. I mean, the gnosis is pretty straightforward. Again, chaos magic presented in this book. Gnosis is presented as an altered state of consciousness. That's it. Gnosis is, I don't know why, I feel like gnosis already has a place in this community of being like, you know, knowledge. So I'm not sure why he would choose the word gnosis. Would you choose the word gnosis for, you know, just a state of awareness? Like there's obviously somewhat interchangeable, but I don't know. I don't like it. It's confusing. It's unnecessarily confusing. We could have used a more accurate word. Anywho, it's important to enter gnosis because we bypass the conscious mind and we go straight to the subconscious mind, where we can plant the seed of change, and then that seed grows passively of its own volition without us having to worry about it too much. Again, insert sigil. We program the sigil through a Gnostic trance-like state, so that the sigil is now imbued with those magical powers and acts passively. Think of a video game. You guys ever played Diablo? I used to love that game, Diablo. Well, sometimes you get, you can find a sword with sockets in it, right? And so that, which basically means you can enter magical gemstones or magical ruins. So every time your sword strikes a demon, you take some of its life force, or you take some of its mana, you know, or you have a special ruin that does 15% to your attack speed, or 15% damage, or 15% poison damage. And this is all a passive ability, meaning once you imbue the weapon with that jewel, the jewel that has the power of, you know, stealing mana is acting passively. It's always there. It's not something you have to think about or worry about. You set it and forget it. That's what the sigil does. You plug it with your ruin, you plug it with your magic, and it just does its thing. It's like a new Wi-Fi router. Making a sigil, modern day speaking, is like making a Wi-Fi router for your manifestations. You go, hey, I want a Wi-Fi router, but I want, I want the signal instead of broadcasting the internet. I want the signal to broadcast money. I want the signal to broadcast situations that allow me to grow my finances. Boom, plug it with some ruins, put some gemstones inside the sigil, go into Gnosis, program that be, set it, and now you have a little Wi-Fi router, or you have a Wi-Fi signal booster for manifesting money. And that's what your sigils do. Next, paradigm shifting. Belief as a tool, we talked about that already. Paradigm shifting is just shifting belief systems like time and time again. But the thing is, we have to actually believe in those belief systems while we're practicing them, because if we don't actually believe in them, they're not going to work. Or at least the more we believe in them, the more they work. But it's kind of a catch-22, because we have to have the ability to completely disregard those beliefs when we're done with them. It's very peculiar form. It's a very peculiar form. I mean, I'm sure you guys have found in your lives, I do it almost daily, where you just get hit with some wildness and you think, damn, I need to change how I'm thinking immediately, or I'm going to go insane. I do that with my child all the time. I'm like, in the name of all that is holy, Atlas, for the love of God, listen to what I'm saying, please. And obviously he doesn't. That's not going to work. So I have to, like, okay, how do I change my thoughts and my actions? How do I reroute this situation? Because my approach is, my belief in how to handle this situation is not working at all. I need to drop this immediately, or I'm going to lose my mind. Right? We all go through this. So basically, reflect on the times in your life where you have been forced to change your belief system about a particular situation. Otherwise, that situation would have gone south real fast. That's all chaos magic is. Well, it's not all chaos magic is, but that's a big part of it. It's just, all right, this ain't working. I need to drop this belief system immediately and pick up a new one so that I can get what I want. And then you drop that one too when you're done. Do I talk too fast? I've been thinking lately that I might talk too fast. I feel like if I don't finish the train of thought as quickly as possible, I'll lose it. And another part of me feels like if I talk too slow, I'll bore people. But maybe I got it all wrong. Let me know if I talk too fast, and I'll adjust that. I can, again, a belief system that I can drop to make the presentation of my material better. And I will be happy to oblige. But I'm gonna check out your guys' comments right now. And we can. I'm addressing it on my computer though. Everyone, can you do me a huge solid? And everyone hit that like button, pretty please, so we can crack the code. I would love that so much. If you're just coming in, we're talking chaos magic. We finished our book. We finished Liber Null Psychonaut by Peter Carroll, the second book of the occult sciences. And we're almost done with this part of it. And then we're going to go into the pitfalls, which we already kind of went into, but we'll go into the pitfalls. Oh my God, that was the first time I sneezed since I had my eye injury, and I've been dreading that moment because, well, it didn't hurt as bad as I thought. I feel my eye wobbling right now. It feels like there's like bugs under the skin doing this right now from the sneeze. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel right. Anywho, bless me. I'm reading your guys' comments. Rusty, it was very specific. We're talking about sigils, I believe. It was spirits of my actions. I focus on the shapes and colors that swirl around while my eyes are closed. Dude, I was doing a wild thought experiment before I fell asleep last night. My right eye is super sensitive to light because I shaved off the top layer of my right eyeball basically, and so it's super sensitive to light. And what I noticed before going to sleep last night, you know how you see colors behind your closed eyes? Well, you know how the colors for me, the colors like, well, sometimes they'll swirl or they're just like, it's not pure blackness. It's like blotches of not blackness. Well, one of the brighter patches of not blackness while I was sleeping last night, my room was pitch black. There was no light in the room. The shapes I saw behind my eye were what do you call them, hypnagogic, I think you call them. Anywho, when one of those blips crossed the center focus of my eye, I noticed my right eye hurt because it was like my eye thought it was seeing light, and so the muscle was contracting. And the pain I feel right now, when like the eye damage I got from that piece of wood, the pain I feel comes from light hitting it, and the muscles are just really sore. So what I was doing is I was moving that imaginary light in a circle like a lighthouse, and I would follow it with my eyes, and I would see the light, and when it would cross the center of my vision, my eye would tense. And I was like, wow, what a strange thing. But I followed it in like my mind's eye, and it was like a lighthouse. So the light was on the other side of the lighthouse. It kind of went black and disappeared. Came back around, came back in front of my eye, and my eye, I could feel the muscles pulling. I was like, dang, I could control the muscles of my iris by just pretending like a lighthouse was shining a light on it, and I could feel the pain, not bad pain, but I could feel the tension from the eye muscles. It was wild. But doing that, I because it was rhythmic and it was in a circle and it was light, I was super trancing myself out for a good like 5-10 minutes before falling asleep. And I thought, wow, this is actually pretty cool. I'm deep in a meditative state, just doing this. Anyway, thought for whatever reason, I thought that would be a cool story to share. Kim, what's up, Kim? Order. Sitting in a dark room to work on shifting my timeline after dropping my children to school weekday mornings. Chaos. I gotta take my glasses off. I can't read. My right eye is actually super blurry right now. I gotta clean my eye out after this live. Yes, Kim. Well said, Kim. Well said, well said. Your actions can create your own hell. This path helped at least heal that much. For sigil, it's wise to know divination first. You divine to know reality, then use appropriate sigil. Yes, but you gotta use well, there's different forms of chaos, of divination, and some, at least as presented in this book. Chaos magic does not like astrology, for example, for divination, because it feels it's too orderly. It's too chaos magic doesn't like order. I've noticed. Astrology is too orderly. It's too mathematical. It likes chaos magic likes divination in forms of almost pure randomness. So like throwing bones, tea leaves, casting ruin stones so that the ruins pop up. It likes that form of divination. It actively addresses and degrades the use of astrology as a form of divination because it thinks it's too mathematical, which I'm assuming means it doesn't leave enough room for chaos. It even goes as far as to say, if you're going to be reading cards, to not shuffle your deck too much. You're supposed to like cut it one time and pull the cards for whatever. I don't necessarily believe the things I'm saying. I'm just relaying them as they're presented, in as much as the text that we're currently reading at this moment in time. Corn Pop was a bad dude. You need to know first frequency, then sigil to change frequencies. I lost my spot. Where are we? I was swimming in the Red Sea in Egypt, and I felt a strange presence come over me. I looked down, and there was a turtle getting bummed by a dolphin. Otherwise, you put the frequency that makes dissonance instead of harmony, kids. Then suddenly it's like a switch clicks. Frequency is also available on YouTube as an extra tool. Yes, it is. Bless you and yours off. Yes, if you get it going, you basically start double slit experiment by itching, light quantum, I Ching, measure of light. Okay, cool. We're all caught up with comments. Why do I feel like I hear, what's your name? The girl who sings, "Can you believe in love after love? I can feel something inside myself. I really don't think it's strong enough, no. Do you believe in love after love?" Who sings that song? I can't remember her name. Share. Thank you, Really D. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what it was. I'm glad you guys all know that song, by the way. That makes me happy. That was actually bonus material if you guys knew. Share. Okay. Um, Practical magic and results. Why does chaos magic prioritize results over tradition? That's obvious because chaos magic doesn't care about tradition. Chaos magic is a very pragmatic. It's super anti-tradition because chaos magic believes tradition holds you back because traditions are, by sort of definition, are limited to their own belief systems. Hence, why they call it tradition in the first place. So the chaos magician believes that traditions only hold people back. Religion holds people back. Ideologies hold people back. Belief systems hold people back, in as much as people's inability to relinquish them. They're useful as long as they serve their purpose, but if the purpose is not being served, then they suggest you drop it. So, um, hmm. So I have written down that Carol sees the subconscious mind as the true agent of magical working. The subconscious mind is the true agent to subconscious working. Now we're getting into my critique of chaos magic. It processes and acts on intents implanted during gnosis. But I disagree. Well, it's not that I disagree. What I disagree, what I would like to add is the importance of the conscious mind. Because yes, the subconscious mind, the chaos sphere, is, how does the book write? Is the true agent of magical workings. How do you think shit gets in the subconscious mind in the first place? How do you think you tap into the chaos sphere in the first place in order to enact change? How do you think this dude wrote this book? The only way to, like, the subconscious mind didn't pick up a pencil. The subconscious mind didn't title this book. The subconscious mind didn't organize the thoughts and ideas from most, in a way that builds upon itself in a very orderly, hierarchical fashion, meaning the most important things were listed in the beginning so that you can get a foundation of knowledge before proceeding to, you got to crawl before you can walk. Structuring the book in a hierarchical manner, omitting certain information and including other information that they deemed more important than others, that's all active, that's all masculine, that's all conscious mind stuff. Like, this dude literally couldn't have written this book without the conscious mind. So the chaos magic gives all credence to one side of creation and not the other, and I don't vibe with that. I believe the most useful spiritual texts are the ones that go, they're both needed. They go, okay, the chaos sphere is not the most important aspect. That's half of the overall aspect. The other sphere of existence is the orderly sphere. I guess I'll just name it myself. The order sphere. You got the chaos sphere and you got the order sphere. You need them both to create things. And this book doesn't mention that. So I will do my part and say, hey, look, the chaos sphere is great, but let's not pretend. Let's not fall in line with, all of the other new age sort of propaganda in saying, it's all about the chaos, it's all about the subjective, it's all about the subconscious, it's all about the pure potential, and then forgetting the other existence, which is, all right, now how do you fucking define something? Okay, you've entered the world of the chaos sphere, but you want to bring something back as a individualized, well-defined thing. That means you got to give it border. That means you got to give it life. That means you have to give it substantiality, and that's order. That's the order sphere. That doesn't mean I'm saying order sphere is like the bread and butter. I'm saying it is order sphere is also half of the battle. So someone needs to rewrite this. Maybe we'll rewrite it and say, all right, look, chaos sphere, that's great and powerful and all, but you're missing half of the goodies. Half of the goodies. Not to say that manifesting isn't going to work with the knowledge in this book. I'm just saying it sets people up for an unbalanced approach to spirituality, which is what we see all the time today. People hate on the masculine. People hate on the conscious mind. They hate on, they say, oh, it's 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 the thinking mind, and you're not your thoughts, and thoughts are bad, they come and go, and you're not your thoughts. You have to, it's like those things are true, but we have to reorient our relationship to them, because thoughts are, without them we're nothing. Thoughts may throw us off sometime, but the mere fact that we can think at all, at the caliber that we can, sets us apart from every other animal that's ever existed, ever. The fact that you and I can have this conversation is due to thoughts. You know what I mean? So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. In other words, that's my main critique on this book is, it's hard, you know. It's hard to go to a practice that says there is no truth, right? You can pick up your belief systems and put them down, and pick them up and put them down, and ultimate reality is what you make of it. It's hard to read a text like that, because the text itself is trying to present its own objective reality. Like this, the contents of this book itself are presenting to an objective reality that says this subjective reality is the totality of everything, which is a massive paradox. It's saying there's no such thing as truth. Trust me. You know, like, wait, so does that mean what you're saying is true or false? You know, so it's a huge paradox, and it doesn't address that. If it addressed that paradox, I would give it a little more. It was like, hey, I know I'm telling you that chaos is everything, and that subjective reality is everything. And I realize I present that in an objective matter. I understand the paradox of that statement, but trust me. And I'd be like, okay, at least he's acknowledging that what he's saying makes zero sense. But let's proceed, you know? Which is why I like Hermeticism, because in the very beginning it says there is a paradox to this reality, that things both are and they are not at the same time. And it is not our goal to argue that philosophical idea, because you'll get nowhere. It's a paradox. Just accept it for what it is. Our point isn't to understand the paradox. Our point is to ascend. Not even to ascend. Maybe because some people might want to descend. The goal is to simply learn the mechanics of the universe, and then use those mechanics to get what we want. Period. Whether you want to go ascend to the heavens, where you want to descend into the material, whether you want to go sideways into a alternate reality altogether and run a bunch of side quests because you're into the side quest thing, which I am too a lot of the times. I love the side quests. I'm not necessarily trying to go forward or backwards. I'm trying to hit a side quest, man, because Billy lost his goats in the cave over there, and there's some cave trolls and shit, and I'm trying to get some new armor, so I hit the cave troll. It's not part of the main quest by any means, but I'm trying to catch a vibe over in the caves, you know? So, yeah. I think that's Psychonaut. We have Psychonaut stuff. I don't know if you guys. It's called Psychonaut because the whole point of this book is to explore the subconscious realm, or to get into the subconscious realm in order to enact change on the external reality. That's pretty much it, squad. You guys have any like? Do you guys have any? Do you guys have your own like personal magical paradigms or spiritual paradigms that you would set up for yourself that you'd be into? Like, do you guys like? Do you see something like this and you go, "That's it," like that's it? I don't necessarily. Well, it says something in here towards the end. It had a poem, and in this poem, it's got a bunch of beautiful nuggets in here. Don't get me wrong. There are some phenomenal nuggets in here. I learned a lot. I did, but it's also kind of dark side. It says one thing in here that I strongly disagree with. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's this. It's this. We read it the other night on the live. The poem. It says, the penultimate metamorphosis, the achievement of constant magical consciousness. And all things know that I am this illusion, and all things know also that I am not this illusion. But there is no thing more ineffectual than to be always only half in the world and half out of it. Thus, at the moment of one's doing, be in it, identify completely, live in it, and in the interstices between all one's doing, reside in the void, be vacuous, have no mind. Know that by this one may attain to complete freedom from the consequences of one's actions. That last line. Know this, know that by this one may attain to complete freedom from the consequence of one's actions. Like, do you guys really think that you can be in complete freedom with one's own conscious, with one's own actions? And it's funny because this thing talks about the importance of the law of cause and effect. It uses the axiom, law of cause and effect, in its book. So how can it say our magical practices work because of cause and effect, and then at the end of the book say, know this, by practicing these teachings, you will be free from the consequences of your actions. So do you believe in cause and effect or not? Or do you only believe in cause and effect when it's useful for you and not? And again, that's sort of what chaos magic does. It goes, I believe in something when it's useful, and I don't believe in it when it's not. And that just doesn't seem. It sounds good. It sounds good, and there's a lot of truth in it. But if I were a demon and I were to write a manuscript, I would wrap it in as much truth as possible. And then when I've got them tucked deep into my sack, I would slip in. I would slip in the perversion. This seems like something that slipped in a perversion at the very end, where I was like, okay, I'm with you. And then it was like, wait, what? No, I don't believe one can escape consequences of their actions. I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not saying what I am saying is absolute by any means. I'm saying I strongly disagree, and I've given some reasons why. And I think you should be careful. I think that if everyone in this room seems to be pretty level-headed, I feel like we're all on the same page of like really taking what we learn with a grain of salt. But there's some people out here who take stuff like this and run with it. You know what I mean? So if someone comes across this page where you're trying to run with some shit like this, just let it be stated for the record that I don't believe one can completely escape the consequences of their actions. Not in this lifetime, at least. At the very least, not in this linear soul manifestation, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna go back to you guys' comments. You can also play an instrument. I gotta take my glasses. My right eye is super blurry. I don't know why. It's more blurry than it was yesterday. I built one and screwed it to my bed. If it gets all super low frequency, you can't actually hear it. I don't know what you're talking about. Note accounts. The idea, I guess, is to create yourself and the world in your image. There's pockets of order in the chaos because everything comes in waves. Yes, I hear that. Thoughts are frequencies, so what kind of thoughts do you have? What frequency are you vibrating at? Is that a rhetorical question, Ela? Agreed. Do you think making a contribution is as important as taking care of your spirit? I mean, sometimes making a contribution can be taking care of your spirit. A lot of people get a lot of spiritual satisfaction in contributing, their time or their thoughts or money. And sometimes I feel bad for not spending time with my child because I'm just trying to chill. And so I will, quote unquote, contribute my time. That seems awful to say it like that. But I'm giving something of myself to my child. And in reality, during the time I'm spending with my child, I go, wow, this, I feel good. I took a step away from my own world and interjected myself into my child's world. And now we're both having a grand old time and my spirit is fulfilled. So to answer your question, do you think making a contribution is as important as taking care of your spirit? That all comes down to nuance. It all comes down to nuance, Noda. Sometimes it's a lot of these are judgment calls. Who knows? What's the contribution, and what's the state of your spirit? What's the state of the contribution, and what's the state of your spirit? I mean, we have to have, this is where, when people, I think Elah said it last live. He said, "Know thyself." Someone said, "Know thyself," and this is why. This is a very practical, a very pragmatic representation of the axiom, "Know thyself." For example, if you know yourself, then you'll be able to answer the question: Is making a contribution as important as taking care of your spirit? Knowing thyself, you'll understand the contribution and what the contribution will do to your spirit. Will it make it better or will it make it worse? This is why you meditate. This is why we're always aware. This is why we try to cut out as much external stimuli as possible, so that we don't get our wires crossed, so to speak, so that we can have the acute awareness of, oh, is this good or is this bad? Like, this is the age-old question. Is this good or is this bad? And philosophies like chaos magic say there's no such thing as good or bad. Belief systems, you pick them up and you drop them as you need. It's like, I don't believe that. Again, like the Hermetic axiom says, things are and they are not at the same time. It's a paradox. A lot of it depends on how close you are to the situation, how much of a nuanced approach you want to take in the situation to determine if something is good or bad. It's tales as old as time, strong as he can see. It's a tale as old as time, man. Did I answer? I know a lot. I feel like a lot of people ask me questions on here, and I never give them answers. Sometimes I think, Keith, if you just told people a straight up answer, you would get more followers. But then my followers would be like cult followers. I don't want people to follow me because I'm starting a cult. That's for my other YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is to instigate people to think for themselves. I'm not trying to build doors for people that they can go through into other dimensions. I'm trying to give people a Batman belt. I'm trying to give people a tool belt so that they can build their own doors to their own dimensions that they want to go in. But please ask the questions. I do love the questions. If the frequency thoughts are bad, find out why and change it. Elah, I feel like you say a lot of things that make sense, but they feel very out of context. So I have no idea what you're going on about, Elah. But I know you're going on about something, and it feels like you're going on in the direction that we're all going on in, I guess that's what I mean to say. You can also play an instrument and zone out. Another way to get vibration. Yeah, what would that be? Class. Playing an instrument and zoning out is basically entering gnosis. Would that be an inhibitory state of gnosis? An inhibitory access to gnosis? Or would that be an excitatory access to gnosis? Class? First one to answer gets to leave class early or stay class late. I think as kids we want to leave class early. Maybe now the first person to answer gets like more classes. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I would say excitatory, right? Because drumming, chanting, playing music. Yes, music. Good look at every tribe, people on earth. They all pray, sing, dance. This is good. This is fantastic. Yeah, Mia did a recent interview where she discussed eternity, eternal realm, everlasting realm, where angels are born. So, really? My thoughts, Kim. Wow, is that music too loud in the background? I feel like it's gonna trigger a freaking copyright strike, or it's gonna demonetize my video. Vibration, you're happy, you're not, vibration, when you're happy, you're not sad. When one is, the other is not. Awareness, look. That's not, I don't agree with Elah. When you're happy, you're not sad. That's not true. You can be both happy and sad at the same time. For example, I see my child get older, and I'm so proud of the human he's becoming, and it makes me so happy. But I'm also so sad to see him grow, because I used to be able to hold him in one arm. I would hold him on my one arm, just one, and I would play Steel Pulse, Your House. He used to love listening to Your House, and I would dance, with him in one arm. And I can't do that with him anymore because he's huge. He's like 60% my size already, and he's only 5, my baby love. So it's totally possible to be both happy and sad at the same time. There's you know what I mean? There's always a blend. You've seen the yin and yang symbol. There's a white on one side and black on the other side, but there's a little bit of white in the black and a little bit of black in the white, and they're also swirled around each other at the same time. So yeah. So I don't necessarily agree that when you're happy you're not sad. That is a very spiritual thing to talk about. You think she astral travels to make her art? Cam, the thoughts. We'll go over Cam's thoughts. Everyone pays. I think you're talking about consequences, Ela. Yes, I agree. I believe in balance, karma. Um, she discussed channeling due to being a musician. She was holding a lot back due to the mindset of the influencer and audience she was speaking to. Truth makes sure of that. Remember, I agree with you, and I believe that possibly astral travel as well. Look at many books are keyed into this book. They're probably not absolute. We all heard it somewhere. Yep. Strongly agree with your disagreement with the chaos magic. Without setting, what Rusty Utter said is also, we should keep in mind that this is a very, very, very tiny book on chaos magic. Each chapter, I'm sure, is its own 1,000-page text on, just one chapter of this book. So there's a lot that's not in here. Maybe I'm being a little overly harsh or critical of chaos magic, having only read. But to be fair, when I looked up what books do I need to read in chaos magic, this was the one that popped up a number of times. So if this is what you're, if this is the practice that you, if this is the seed that you're sowing, for your child, and when they go to school, when they're turned 5, and if that's the first seed you're planting, that's not a good one. So with that being said, I'm still like, all right, well, maybe not say you can escape the consequences of your action in 101. Maybe say that in 110 with a little bit more context. Sorry, Rusty, I'm not. I'm not like, no, Rusty. Strongly, without setting a foundation of principles and oaths, it can lead to blindness of heart and decay without cause. Ooh, that's also poetically, and not only well said, but poetically said. Oath, I like your style. I feel like I've been neglecting my bad past, and it's been building up and rotting, so to speak. I'm trying to overcome mental blocks at the moment to take care of these problems. Welcome to the club, note accounts. You've found yourself in good company. I hope we're helping you along that quest. And if you have any questions, I'm sure any one of us in this room would be more than happy to lend our thoughts, because yes. Mind of Bless, what are some principles and virtues that make up your spiritual foundation? All life is that for me. Oh man, you guys have some great questions. In that moment that you're happy, there was not sadness. If you think and have a thought that makes you miss your children, then the moment passed. I still don't believe that. I don't believe that, Ela. I believe I, Keith Garcia, believe I am capable of holding both emotions at the same time. Like what we're talking about emotions. Fluids are extraordinarily malleable. Like if this is my emotion of happiness and this is my emotion of sadness, like what you think it's just like this, like they're just moving through my brain, like here's one, here's another. Like, no, dude, they're coming in wonky. There's no way. Not only that, memories shift. What made you happy one time could make you sad the next time you look at it. Like I don't. They're fluid. That's what I'm looking for. No, maybe you don't believe that you can have two simultaneous emotions existing at one time in your psyche, or maybe you haven't experienced that yourself. I don't know, but I've definitely, speaking for myself, I'm totally able of feeling both sadness and happiness at the same time. Again, we could be getting into semantics and like unnecessary semantics over trying to prove something that can't be proved. Like I can't prove to you that I'm feeling two emotions at the same time. So I don't mind if you disagree with me, because I have no proof of that. But you're gonna have to understand at the same time that the opposite can be said. There's no way you can prove that I'm not experiencing both happiness and sadness at the same time. Again, these topics we're trying to discuss are so malleable, they're so fluid that it's like we can only give examples of what we're experiencing and hope something sticks. Like when I say I think of my child growing up, I'm like happy that he's a wonderful growing child, and I'm sad that he's no longer my little tiny baby boy. And I, in my heart of hearts, feel like I'm experiencing both those emotions at the same time. I might even sometimes there might even be anger mixed in there. Like, oh my God, I'll watch a video and I'll think, dang, this moment where Atlas was first learning how to speak these words, and I was so caught up with what I was doing at the time, I didn't even realize what was happening. It was right in front of me because I'm watching a video going back like, oh my God, look at him, he's speaking. And I'm there in the room and I'm like on the computer. I'm not even acknowledging that he's humming a song in the background. Like, this is so incredible. It's so sad that he's getting big, and I'm so angry that I wasn't more present in that moment. But I'm thankful that I have this video that I can look back on, and it's just a whole plethora of emotions happening at the same time. Like, have you guys seen that movie Inside Out? I love that movie. Where it's like the people inside of the girl's head, like, oh, here's an emotion for sadness, here's an emotion for happiness. And they have their core memories. Oh, this is a core memory, it's so happy. This is a core memory, oh, she fell and hurt herself, it's a blue sad one. And then at the end of the movie, they get a core memory, she gets another core memory that pops out, and it's both happiness and sadness mixed together. And they're all like, what? That's not possible. You can't have two emotions existing at the same time. What is that? And the memory that the girl had was, she thought back of her friends that she left behind and how much she loved them, and that thought makes her happy, but she also moved and can't see them anymore. So whenever she thinks about her friends, she gets both happy and sad. So can we say that we're both right? Can we say that life both is and is not at the same time, and meet in the middle and call it? And call it? I haven't been meditating. I sit in a dark room, close my eyes, connecting with dark matter, and visualize. Nice, Kim. I feel both at the same time, all the time, every day. Thought and emotion merging, yeah, but I'm not talking about merging thought and emotion. I'm talking about merging two emotions together, not merging thought and emotion, Ela. I'm talking about merging the emotion of sadness and happiness merging together at the same time. Not my thoughts on happiness and sadness merging with the emotion of happiness and sadness. But I want to answer Mia's. Mia did a recent interview, if you're even still here, Cam, where she discusses eternity, eternal realm, everlasting realm, where angels are born, celestial realm, the human realm. My thoughts on that? Can I see some I would need to see some sources. I'm a very source-driven person, be it my fault and my superpower. Where I'm gonna need to, like, how are you coming to these conclusions? And if your answer is, I got these answers because I've been channeling entities, my next thought is, well, I'm gonna need some proof. If you're actually channeling entities, then I'm gonna need, at your own volition, right? I don't want to force anyone or make it awkward, but I'm going to need to see some proof that these entities you're channeling are actually entities and not just you making some shit up. Me as a celebrity, and I'm skeptical of celebrities just generally speaking. So hi, my love, baby. Hi, sweetie. You want to say hi? Oh, you want to drop some knowledge for everyone? Here. Oh,
Daddy.
Here, look at it.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy.
What's up?
Why isn't there a hole in there?
Why is there a hole?
Yeah, it died.
Oh, because it ripped.
I didn't rip off.
I don't know. It probably fell or something.
It didn't fall.
Here, want to say hi on the live?
Yeah.
Say hello.
It didn't get eaten.
Say maybe a mouse took it for his bedding. Say hi, Alice. Look at Atlas. Can you feel sadness and happiness at the same time? It's kind of a hefty question, huh?
Daddy?
Yeah.
I know he will talk to him.
What?
I know we can talk to him.
Yeah?
But Daddy, he said...
What do you say?
It's not in the context yet.
It's not in his context yet. Good reading.
But he said a very good question. But he said it right. He said hi.
That's Rachel.
Rachel.
Oh, no, don't sit on me. I don't want you to knock anything over.
I won't knock anything. I won't knock anything.
Okay. So, I mean, I would like to know what she said. You know, if you want to know how I feel about what she says about eternity, I don't know what she says about it, so I don't really know. Unless you're just asking me how I feel about eternity, Kem. I mean, eternity, eternal realm, everlasting realm, where angels are born, celestial realm. Oh my goodness, the human realm. I have I have no thoughts on those. I'm completely out of the circle as far as those realms go. The different dimensions and 5D,
Daddy,
6D.
Daddy.
Hey, don't yell. I'm right here. It hurts my
What do
ears.
you say?
It says hi, Atlas. That's Rusty.
I know what the other can be.
Yeah.
Rachel's gonna be loaded. Look, he say. He made it.
Nice. Okay, go help mommy. Oh, sorry, Bubba. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should dive into it. Is there a book? Or is there what? Someone point me in the right direction. Damn, we'll hit that on another live. Maybe we'll do some live readings on the eternal realm. I've never heard of the eternal realm. I've never heard of the everlasting realm. I've never heard of where angels are born. I mean, are angels even born? And what angels are we talking about? Like the Christian angels? Like Lucifer? Like where was Lucifer born? Because I'm pretty sure angels weren't born as far as Christianity goes. So when you use the term angels, are you talking Abrahamic angels? Or are you talking, you know, any being that's at a higher dimension than us? Are those born or are those created? That's what I mean. These what's presented is, I have no idea. The celestial realm? Is that like, is the celestial realm like Mount Olympus, like the pantheon? Would that be a type of a type of celestial realm? The Norse pantheon, is that a type of celestial realm? Is that what you mean by celestial realm? And the human realm, the third density. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much thoughts on these. These are far out of my areas of study, if I'm being completely honest. I'm interested in all those questions, probably just as much as you are, and would love to talk about them with more context, but I don't, yeah, like I said, I don't know. I do not know, Kem, I do not know. Kem, meditation has a different... I haven't been meditating. I sit in a dark room, close my eyes. Yeah, listen to Rusty. He knows what he's talking about. Meditation has a lot of different meanings also. Yeah, meditation could be going for a walk. Meditation could be playing music. That's why I don't really like how this book talks about gnosis, because I wish it would have used something more like meditation, because gnosis is, according to this book, getting into a deep trance-like state where you can influence the subconscious realm. And that's what meditation is. But meditation isn't just sitting still and thinking. Meditation could be... And this seems to be mirrored in all the practices I've studied. Meditation isn't about sitting quiet and sitting still. That's a form of meditation. Meditation, in reality, is anything that you do that allows you to be overwhelmed with the topic in such a way that you have complete awareness of the here and the now. Anything that pulls you out of your mind and pulls you into like what you're doing now. So making love could be a type of meditation, right? Because you're focused on your partner, the rhythms, their breath, their heartbeat if you're super tapped in, or playing music, right? You shouldn't be in your head when you're playing music. You should be hearing the music, feeling it. You're listening to your drummer, you're listening to your bassist, you're listening to yourself, and it's like you're watching the crowd. You're like completely in the moment. Going for a walk, cooking, art. If you're a painter and you get caught in the flow state, a meditative state, you know, that's... So even if if you haven't been sitting still for 15 minutes, you know, counting 12-second intervals on your breath intake, etc., it doesn't mean you're not meditating. It's more of a state of mind that you achieve while doing something, in my opinion. And at least like a lot of the books that I've read, This is the only book that's it talks about gnosis, and I'm like, you mean meditation? Do you guys get that feeling too, or am I being too nitpicky? I'm being as nitpicky as possible on purpose. I'm trying my best to play devil's advocate to really hash out the ideas. Otherwise, how are we going to really hash out ideas unless we're overly critical of them? But do you guys get that feeling too, that when it presents gnosis, I'm like, why don't you just call it meditation? Or why don't you call it a trance? Or why don't you call it trance? Why do you call it gnosis? Gnosis is knowledge. We already have plenty of uses for the word gnosis in this realm. Why would you take it and... You guys feel that way too? You guys feel that way too? Oops, wrong button. It's in the Kabbalah or the Talmud. Thought and emotions make frequency. Yes, thought and emotions make the most frequency, which is what thought and emotions make frequency. Everything makes frequency. Emotions have a ton of frequency, but emotions need to be guided in order to be useful. Which is where order comes in, which is why I'm very like, can we give order a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? The reason why I want to give order more spotlight in conversations like these is because without order, we can't do anything with the frequencies that we emit, with the power that we emit. Emotion is powerful and it's raw, whether it's fear, whether it's anger, whether it's disgust, angst, whether it's happiness, love, elation. Emotions have the capacity for ultimate power depending upon how, involved we are with the emotion, how, depending upon the experience that we find ourselves in. But unless we have order, we can't direct that power anywhere. That power can be just as destructive as it is creative. The force that creates is also the force that destroys, because of polarity. So if we want nuclear power to power a city, we need to order. We need to set up protocol. We need to set up boundaries. We need to set up a hierarchy of systems so that the nuclear energy we create powers the city and doesn't kaboom the city. You know what I mean? And on some as above, so below shit, that's the same thing we have to do with our spiritual practices. Yes, emotion is powerful. Yes, the etheric. Yes, the chaos sphere is wonderful. But without order, it's useless. Without order, it's useless. Which is why I'm like, all right. So this basically sounds like the same thing I've been reading this whole time when it comes to spirituality. It's all subconscious, and it sort of throws the ego under the bus. It throws the conscious mind under the bus. Like, of course, the conscious mind sucks. Of course, it gets caught in the monkey mind. Of course, it's wishy-washy. Like, that's also its superpower. We gotta learn how to use that. We don't just disregard it and say it's not as good as the other one. It's like saying off is better than on. When you play music, the space in between the notes is just as beautiful as the notes themselves. The space between the notes is just as beautiful and important as the notes, because it gives space to the notes. It's the container in which the notes set. We need them both. They're intricately woven together. They always have been. Balance, young Padawan. I'm barely catching up to you guys' comments, by the way. Oh, you're saying Mia's knowledge is rooted in Hinduism. So what does Hinduism call angels? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place with my questions. Sorry. If thought go one way and emotions another, then unbalanced or dual. Feeling two things at once. A rock climber, for instance, climbs with united thought and emotions. Such a beautiful. What? Oh. If thought, I'm having trouble reading it. If thought go one way and emotions another, then unbalanced or dual. Not sure what you're talking about. Feeling two things at once A rock climber, for instance, climbs with united thought and emotions so calm. Well, yeah, if you're climbing a rock, you definitely don't want fear to slip in with your. You have to be acutely. I'm not saying that it's impossible to only. You see what I'm saying? Ela, we're going in different directions. We can experience one emotion at a time, like the rock climber who only needs to focus on one emotion so he doesn't fall off the rock. Agreed. But I'm saying that we can also feel two emotions at the same time, or three emotions at the same time. So yes, I agree with your statement. You know, that it's important to be able to consolidate our emotions given the circumstance, given the nuance, right? Because we want to have nuanced conversations. But at the same time, I still believe it's possible for me, Keith Garcia, speaking for myself only, to experience two emotions simultaneously. She said, for the everlasting realm where angels are born and never die. Angels, does that mean angels can't die? See, I would love to have this conversation, Kim. But I would like to know more because I have lots of questions. That's literally what my channel's for, is finding out exactly what you're bringing up. The everlasting realm where angels are born and never die. That sounds right up our alley. Give me some books, man. I want to read on that. Does that mean, I mean, something that's able to be born but not die? That seems unbalanced. I can have, so knowing that, I can have some thoughts on it. I would say that doesn't make sense. How can something be born but not die? Or maybe they don't die of natural causes. Maybe they can die, but they have to be unalived by something. You know, another entity, another creature. How does that fit in the lore, in the mythology of the everlasting realm? So I'm asking strictly from a mythological standpoint. I'm like, okay, if I were to accept these things, what are the nuance? What are the intricacies of it? Do they never die? Can they be if they were created? Can they be uncreated? Who creates them? Who are the angels in Hinduism lore? Is the everlasting realm outside of religion, kind of thing? It ties into gods as a layman would see it. Okay, she said the everlasting. Okay, as a layman would see it, gods. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm getting to the comment spot where Atlas came in here. Remember when Atlas would come in here and could barely talk at all? Oh man, that's what I'm saying. You're getting so big now, my baby. Put you in the zone. Being in the zone, they call it, where they climb without ropes and don't die. Thought, emotions, one mind, body. Yeah, we're talking about two way different things, Ela. I see where you're getting at. Yeah, this the circumstance of me appreciating the growth of my son and me dangling from a rock 500 feet in the air with no ropes are two vastly different circumstances. I would suggest highly against trying to entertain multiple thoughts when dangling from a cliff. I would definitely go your route and say, be one, be unified in your thought and action and your emotions, please don't die. But again, my child, the circumstance I brought up is what we're talking apples and oranges, baby. We're talking way different things. Gnostics is a whole thing. Yeah, Gnostics is a whole thing. The book is way too wordy. Which is funny because it's such a short book. It's funny that you would say that. Thought equals light, emotion equals water. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Thoughts equal light, emotion equals water. I like that. Be water, friend. That's why serious texts tell you to prepare before you act. I like it. Genesis 1, light and water. C 1. I don't know what I see, but I see. I see it with both eyes, even though not good one. Dang, I can't even take out the glasses. Ein Sof or Ein Sof. What does Ein mean? That's basically what that's about. I see what you all mean about the varying forms of what is identified as meditating. I've meditated traditionally, and a visual of my chord could be future life played out in my mind. Cam, that sound. Do you watch? Have you seen Donnie Darko? That's what I imagine. You have that thing that extends from your solar plexus, and it goes as far as the decisions you've made, at least mostly made. Pay Rusty Assad 80 in the mouth, 40 days, 40 nights, Tree of Life, Foundation of what is it? What I think if you didn't do. Okay, I'm all caught up in questions. Nice. And it's almost 143, which is my magical number. How do you guys how do you guys feel about this? I think my big takeaway from this is going to be sigil work. That's my big takeaway from this book, is going to be upgrading my sigil work. And, well, I mean, I never gave proper, thorough thought to sigils anyways. I certainly didn't read any books on them, which is I would consider proper thought. I will no longer give myself credit for knowing something if I learned it on YouTube. Even if what I learned on YouTube was really good. It just seems too easy. It just seems too easy. Like this was for the most part. I give it a. What should we rate this book, you guys? What should we rate it? What do you think? It gets some serious negative points for suggesting that you can escape the consequences of your actions. I don't know. That might be like that should be like -5 out of 10 immediately off the bats. But that could be. Are we rating it ethically, morally, spiritually, like the usefulness? Like, what are we? How do we do that? Media links are the best once you start reading about all this. I added the recommended occult sciences book on my Amazon list. Nice. I've heard of Donnie Darko. I have it on my movie to watch playlist. Donnie Darko is great. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, rising early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Find it kind of funny, find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. Find it hard to tell ya, I find it hard to take. People run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. That movie Donnie Darko has that song Mad World as their like the theme song of that movie. I love that song. That song's also in the trailer for, what was that old first person shooter game where you're like super gnarly burly dudes and you're fighting aliens? Gears of War. That song was in Gears of War too. That was a badass game. I like that game a lot. It's called A Good Shepherd Sacrifice. Elites use it to escape their karma. Riri Monroe. It's a little too loose. It could link to further studies. It seems a little loose. I know. I've put my foot in my mouth, so to speak, already once during this live in saying that maybe we can give them a little more benefit of the doubt, considering it's such a small introductive text. I mean, it's only, how many pages is this? It's 101 pages. Like, my God, it's not 105. It's 105 pages, and yeah. So, I guess take it with a grain of salt. Alarali Noskental. Hello, Noskental. Nice to see you. Want to learn about real magic? Watch nature. Amen to that. The better your awareness, the more you will learn. It's impossible to learn it all. Open your eye. Awareness. Nature, best teacher. We are in wholehearted agreement there, good sir. Or ma'am. Ela. We are. Yeah, Cam, I enjoyed Donnie Darko. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe we should have a movie night. Maybe we should have a movie night. I'll just go live one of these nights. I'm actually about to watch a movie with Megan Fox in it. I don't know the name of it, but it's an AI movie. The only thing that sucks is Megan Fox. She's been a babe for such a long time that I can't see her as an AI robot. I want to feel immersed into these worlds. It's probably the Pisces in me. I want to be immersed in these worlds. But if you got Megan Fox playing the AI character, I'm not seeing an AI. I'm seeing the babe that is Megan Fox. Talk about rituals and shit like that. She's done some weird blood magic stuff with her boo.
Sorry, are you busy?
You need muscle?
Huh?
Do you need muscle?
No, I just wanted to know where to put that vinegar at. Can I dump it?
I'll figure it out. Yeah, like out in the street though.
Okay.
It smells amazing. Even though there's like dead bugs in there. I smelled it the other day and it smells like delicious meat is what it smells like.
Can I use it for plants?
Nah, it'll kill. I don't think it's vinegar. I think it's meat. I think it's actual finished. I think it smells like it. It's just been sitting out for like a year.
I know. I'm like, I think it's time to move that thing.
I know. We made a bunch of homemade mead, and Atlas kept pulling the airlock off of it so oxygen got in, and it started smelling like nail polish remover. When I looked it up, it was like, oh, if you expose your mead to oxygen, a different microbe wins the battle, and it starts producing vinegar and like rubbing alcohol smelling stuff. And I thought, damn, that sucks. But when I actually went and tasted it, it tasted like delicious mead. But it's been sitting out for a year in my backyard, and there's like dead flies in it and stuff. So I was like, I'm probably gonna toss it. But anywho. Never mind. What? Never mind what? Forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Can't remember what I was saying. I was talking about Megan Fox. Oh, movie nights. Yeah, we should do movie nights or something. I can run a live and just have the live running in the background. We can all come kick it and, I don't know, just make merry. Enjoy some adult beverages, if you know what I mean. Welcome on in, everyone. If you're just coming in and you're just seeing what's going on, my name is Keith, Man of Letters. We read live, which we do often on this channel. We read live occult books, or just we read old cool books somewhat relevant to philosophy or self-development or spiritual practices, or giants, Nephilim, Tartaria, cool things like that. And we do it mostly for entertainment, mostly for providing a space to hang with the homies and have very, very thought-provoking conversations, and hopefully in the process learn how to astral project into Hollow Earth so that we can visit the land of the giants and Hyperborea, and I don't know what else. Like, what would you guys do with ultimate magic? I think I would grow cities. I would grow forests that grew into the shapes of cities. You know what I mean? Like on some straight up friggin' Avatar. Like I would use my magic to grow massive sequoia trees, but the trees themselves grew into the shape of buildings and houses, so they were living structures that you could live in. That's what I would do if I had ultimate magical power. I think that would be my project. Like, what's Keith up to? I don't know, dude. Keith turned the southwestern U.S. He just turned it into a goddamn eco city. Like, oh, is it like eco-friendly and they have solar panels and things like that? Like, no, dude. He's got trees that grew into the shape of he's got skyscraper trees, bro. He's got giant sequoia trees, and they have their apartment buildings. It's the coolest thing. I've never seen anything like it. Keith is on another level. You should see him. That's what I would be doing. What would you guys be doing? What would you guys be doing with magical powers? I've been messing with VR Skyrim. Oh man, I haven't dabbled in Elder Scrolls in a really long time. I have PS5. Should I get Let's see. Check, check. Let's see. Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Okay. I was saying, Atlas, if you could have one magical thing, what would you want?
I should eat bananas.
Bananas?
Yeah.
What else?
Just about just about the airplanes installed by the restaurant.
The airplanes?
Yeah, by the restaurant.
You want to fly in one, or you just want to see them though?
I want to see them from the restaurant.
Oh, so if you could have anything, you would want bananas and to go see the airplanes?
Yeah.
That's cool. Anything else? Just keeping it simple?
Eli said I hear.
Oh, Eli said I hear. Yes, he did. Well, do you have any last words for everybody? Do you want to say anything? Any final thoughts or anything? No? That's it?
Your dad.
He stopped by?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Honey.
Oh my God, he already went up? Is he still here?
I told him if you wanted to talk to him. He's like, oh, I got things to do.
Ah, so he left already?
He just left here now.
Oh, weak sauce. I was ending right now too. Oh. Okay, baby. We'll say bye.
Have a good day, Dad.
Say bye, Ela. Thanks for hanging.
Bye. Ela, thanks for having.
Say see you later.
See you later.
We'll read some other stuff sometime.
I read some other stuff last time.
And learn water bending.
Learn water banding.
Okay, say bye.
Bye. And